but I'm a little slow. So today's class, we will end up over here in the testimonials, and then we'll go back to the web page for a minute. But let's pretend that you've already logged into Moxie. The reason we're starting in Moxie is, I hope you remember, I can log into Testimonial Tree independently, and so can you. But I want to go back and forth between the two today to kind of show you a variety of ways you can share your testimonials, because if we collect them and nobody sees them, they're not worth much, right? It just makes you feel good. So we want to make sure we can share them. On your Moxie toolbar, you'll notice that you have Testimonial Tree. Now, the only reason I'm not clicking on that right now is because I'm pretending to be Brenda, and I'm going to use Dixie's testimonials. Brenda's not using her website. And Dixie's testimonials, I can post in a number of places and it won't hurt anything. So normally you would get into Moxie, click on Testimonial Tree, and that would open up and take you to this testimonial dashboard. Okay. Some of you may have a few testimonials already. Some of you may not have any. So to understand the process, when you close a deal and you've included your email address, Testimonial Tree automatically emails out a rating. And if the rating is good, then they say, would you like to leave a testimonial? And I would start coaching your clients. Yeah, I'd like testimonials because they're a good idea. If the rating is substandard, they don't ask them for a testimonial because they don't want to have them write nasty things that you don't like in there, right? Right. So if you do not put an email address in brokerage engine all the way to back at the beginning when you enter a client, then you should be getting an email that says, hey, do you want to send a testimonial out to Jane Smith? And then you can give them Jane Smith's email address and get a testimonial. Any questions about that part? Okay. So let's pretend you've been getting tons of testimonials and you're going, yes, I love it and they're great, but now I want people to see it. Well, that's what today's class is about.
Can we start? Can you tell me where you're at? 'Cause I'm now at...
Sure. I went into MoxieWorks. I went over here to the end where it says Testimonial Tree. And you click on Testimonial Tree and that takes you to your dashboard. From your dashboard, you can see your recent testimonials. Lynn's laughing. You can see your recent surveys. So some of these people returned surveys, but they didn't fill out a testimonial, and that's okay. We don't want to beat people up too bad. And we want to start figuring out now how to display these. Do you guys get emails when you get a good testimonial? Do you know? Does anybody know?
Yes.
Okay. A couple of people have said yes. So when you get a testimonial, you can say, up, time for me to log in. Or you can say, I'm going to look at them at the first of every month. Or you can say, I'm never getting in there because I don't want to work that hard. Whatever you want to do. But when you get to your Testimonial Tree dashboard, right at the top here, it says recent testimonials and it says view all. That's what I'm going to click on. Now, what I'm getting ready to show you is the manual way to share your testimonials, not the automated way. And I'm doing that on purpose. Automated is a little harder, but once you've got it set up, you're done. This way is a little prettier. So let's say that Dixie just got this testimonial and she wanted to say, man, I want that on my social media. Well, the first thing we do on this little green button over here on this individual testimonial, we click the little arrow and it says share testimonial, request share, and all kinds of other things. I'm going to point out in the middle that it says edit testimonial. This is their in my humble opinion, only to correct spelling or punctuation that's really bad. What you don't want to do is edit it and rewrite the whole thing so that it's nothing like what your client wrote, and then they get mad at you and trash you all over the place. You can go to testimonial marketing or share. Either one will get you where you want to be, but I'm going to go to marketing because that sounds more logical to me. When that testimonial opens up, you're going to see right at the top a couple of checkboxes. Testimonial tree public directory, because you get a little place that people can Google into your name. And then the next box is realtor.com recommendations. That means that if you click that box, this will go out to realtor.com as well. Okay.
Actions and then share testimonial.
I went to marketing. Let's go back. I'm on actions. Click the arrow. Testimonial marketing. Okay. And then I'm going to click on realtor.com at the top because I want it to be posted there as well as the public marketing. But then you're going to notice a couple of other things. A launch image generator. Well, I like the image generator a whole lot other than the share. And I'll tell you why in a minute, but let's launch it just to see what it does. When I click launch image generator, it brings up a nice JPEG that you can put in your Facebook page, LinkedIn, website, wherever you want to post it. Now, the difference from this to Facebook is if you post it to other social media, you don't get the nice little picture. It's more of just the writing, and it's a little bit less presentation to me. But taking a quick look at this, it's got Dixie's picture, wonderful to work with, and who it's from. And then we have all these choices over here. So we're going to take a look at this for a minute. Layout. Well, I've got the picture on top. Maybe I want the picture off to the side. And it redraws it with the picture over on the side. Maybe I want the picture on the other side. And it redoes it with the picture on the other side. And then I can say, oh, change sizes and whatnot. But for the most part, you guys are going to have a template that you like and kind of stick with it. I'm going to pick the one we have here with the picture on the left because I like all the white space. Any questions so far? Okay. I want to change the font. Maybe I think this looks too professional. I want it to look more like a kid wrote it. I clicked on Comic Sans, and now it's going to change the font someplace that I don't even see.
It changed it.
I can go down to Times New Roman, and it changed it again. So you can choose one of these fonts. I'm going to stay with Arial because it's kind of easy to read and a little bit bigger. I looked on description. I could not find for the life of me what prescription did, so I wouldn't worry about it. Decoration. Well, what colors do you want? Maybe you don't like the green color that we picked out. Oh, yes, Lynn?
I clicked on description, and that's where you can actually edit the text if there's a spelling error.
Fair enough. Okay. Let's say you don't like the green line in here. Maybe you want a blue line. Let's say you don't want the stars to be black. Maybe you don't want the font, or I'm sorry, gold. Maybe you don't want the font to be in black. You are allowed to show the company name. Since it's a testimonial, I'm less worried about the real estate commission saying you're advertising without using your brokerage name. You're not advertising a property. So you can click on it or leave it unclicked, your choice. Next, background. Do you want an image? Well, it has an image currently. You could do transparent. You could do a solid color. I'm going to leave it on image just because I don't want to upload a new one, but you get the drift. Or you could upload something that you want. Let's use Lance for an example. He has a picture of a tornado because he's a storm chaser. He could make the background picture his cloud with a tornado down below it. You could upload that.
Would that picture go behind the?
That would go behind all the white part. Okay. Let's get off background and go to watermark. Now, I've not done a watermark before in most of my stuff, but basically the idea is if somebody steals your testimonial and puts it someplace, you can put a watermark on it that says, hey, this belongs to me. Grooviness and all, but do you really care if somebody's getting your testimonial out there in front of other people? I mean, you have to think about that. Default settings kind of says that I can set up what I want to use all the time, so I don't have to go back and pick every time. But let's go to share now. I can download this image just the way it is, okay? Does anybody need me to show you how to download a picture from the internet? Okay. Or you can generate it to share on social media. When I click on share, I've got 3 ways to share on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. I'm going to go to Facebook, and it's going to open my Facebook page and show me like it will look, what it would look like. Okay. And then I can make it public and share it, and I'm done. Except I can't see the bottom of the page. So let me see where I go. Share to news feed, approved. I probably can't see it because my page is, because of this bar down here. Yep. Now I can see post to Facebook. Now that's going to go on my Facebook page and I'm done. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Can you go ahead and show us what it looks like if you download it? Because the reason
Sure.
I'm asking is for our listing packages. I like to have a page that has some of the testimonials on it.
So I pushed the download button, which is above the Facebook, right here. And I'm going to share it to my desktop, and I don't care to rename it at the moment. So I'll save it. It's now on my desktop. And I don't know, and there's what it looks like. And you could take that into a Word document or wherever you want it. Lance said that if he had a listing packet that he wanted to put it in, he might like to have a few of his testimonials in there.
With our old testimonial program that we had, some of my clients who I had a packet in front had come right out and said that the testimonials that I was able to share with them really meant a lot to them. So I try to include those as much as possible.
Well, and that's why I've been working hard to find a decent program for us to have testimonials on. So let me go back to this page and stop and say, does anybody have any questions about what I just shared on how to put it on Facebook and how to download the image? Okay, then. Just because I want to go back and address something Lynn said, If I view all testimonials by clicking here, and I had clicked on my action button, but had gone to share testimonial rather than marketing, let's see what happens. It comes up to this page. You can still generate the image like we had done previously, but this also has a direct link to Facebook where you don't have to make all the pretty pictures and stuff. Now, the problem is, this is exactly what it will look like on Facebook. Dixie was wonderful to work with, communication and so on, testimonial by Darwin for Facebook, and so on. And the problem I see is that is such a bland sentence, nobody may stop to look at it. You can do it that way if you think people will. But I've just thought I would point out that is not the way I would do it. But you click on Facebook and click share. And it didn't like the way I clicked. Then it opens up Facebook and it shows it. And that's exactly how it shows it, along with how to get to Dixie's webpage. Okay.
So that way has the website link and the other way does not.
It has the old website link. We're still having to update lots of stuff between the two. But what I also saw was who's going to stop and read it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, if nobody has any questions on that, we're going to get more complicated. Okay. Are there any questions? All right. Let's decide that you want to set up a testimonial page on your website where your testimonials automatically feed to. Is that reasonable and logical? Okay. So back in Moxie, remember we went to Moxie first to get into testimonial tree. We want to go into my websites. Okay. Lynn's catching up with us. And you'll notice I have two tabs open. I have the website open and I have the testimonials open because you're going to want them both. Well, so here's what you do, Lynn. You go over here where it says testimonial tree. You hold down the control button and then you click on testimonial tree and it opens in a new tab. That way they're both open. Okay. So I've got them both open now so I can work with them. I'm going to go into my website, and this is Brenda's site, you know. And if you're going to add a page in website, you go to Site Pages. Okay. Click on Add New. Well, what kind of page do you want? We're going to do a custom page. If you click the little drop arrow, you can see you could do custom search, menu items, and so on. Do not use the Add New Testimonial page. Because in Moxie's world, you don't get a testimonial page that automatically feeds stuff in. In Moxie's world, they say you have to hand type in every testimonial you want. And we don't want to do that. So we're going to do a custom page and submit. Well, what do you want to call the page? We're going to call it My Testimonials because that's just a nice, easy page. Testimonials. You could say what people say about me. You could say recommendations, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and we have now saved, or we haven't saved yet because I haven't published it, but we now have a page that says My Testimonials. Now there's a couple of ways you can do things. And I'm going to first add just a short sentence or two so that people will know what they're getting here. Read what my clients have to say about me.
Greg,
Yeah,
I'm on my second screen and I'm trying to do it and as you're doing it. And so after you put your title in, what did you do to get the permalink there? Did you hit?
it just showed up. I
Okay,
did nothing. I clicked out of this little box because I haven't saved, publish, or anything yet. If you want to save as a draft, you can by clicking right here where it says Save Draft.
okay,
But what the permalink is basically, it's going to say whatever you put up there, my testimonials, it's going to add that to your website. Let's not worry about that too much right yet. This is in the actual page discussion, construction. But just because I want to, I'm going to save as a draft right now so I don't lose any of my work. Okay. And here it is with the permalink, the name, but it's not published anywhere. And if I wanted to preview it right now, on the right-hand side under publish, it says preview. And I'm going to see what it looks like. My testimonials, read what my clients have to say about me. I'm going to close that little preview. Beg pardon? Lynn? Okay. I want this type to be a little bigger. You may not want to do anything. Let's see where I can make the type bigger. View format. I want it to be bold. I want it to be, let's see. I'm not making it bigger yet. So I'm just going to live with that for the minute. But now that I have that in there, and I've created this page with a little sentence at the top, the real trick here is, how am I going to get all my testimonials in here, right? Say yes, Greg.
Yes, Greg.
Yeah, okay, that's better. Okay, so we have to go back to testimonial tree and create a widget that is specific for you that we're going to put in here. So I'm going to click on the testimonial tree tab. And right at the top under dashboards, it says widgets. So I click on widgets and I want to manage them. All right. Well, I don't really have any widgets in there I want to use yet. So I'm going to go back to widgets and I want to add a widget. Now underneath that, you're going to see add Facebook tab. Here's what I'm going to tell you about Facebook tabs and why I'm not going to get too excited teaching that yet. The Facebook keeps changing its algorithm to try to screw people up from feeding things automatically. So the best they've come up with currently is a Facebook tab. It can only be on a business page, and you have to have at least 2,000 people like your page before you can add a tab. It's hard to get 2,000 people to like your Facebook business page. We got it to happen for our company, but then it's just merely a second tab that says testimonials. I would encourage you guys not to worry about it too much. On your feeds, you're going to be better off posting the pictures and the pretty things like we did, rather than worry about Facebook, because Facebook won't allow them to automatically be sent over there. So for right now, we want to add a widget, and the widget is basically a very short computer program that puts your testimonials on your website for you. So I'm going to click on Add Widget. There are all kinds of widgets in here that you can add. For instance, while I won't teach this today, they have what's called a Testimonial Rotator that you could put on your front page of your website that would rotate them through so people could look at them. It's the same principle we're doing now, but it's a little harder to get all the boxes in the right place. You can have just a straight list. You can have social media ads. You can have different layouts and colors, columns, 3Ds, just a simple aggregate. But here's what I'm going to tell you as I go through these. I've played with a bunch of these and I've created probably 30 or 40 different ones, and they just don't seem to display the way I think they ought to sometimes. So I'm going to warn you that staying simple is a little better up front. So down here close to the bottom is the alternating colors and let's see, where's the simple list that I want? That one's not bad. The ratings widget, testimonial list is another very good one because it basically just goes on the page and resizes however you want it to be. So let's start with a minute for this alternating color because honestly, I don't think I've built this one yet. So we're going to be playing together. I'm going to choose and continue the alternating color. And it's going to think for a minute. And it's got all this stuff up here that you really don't even have to fill in. Because here's the deal. We're going to add every testimonial you already have. And as long as you don't put an end date in here, every time you get a new one, it'll automatically go in, which is really what you want. So I'm not choosing a star rating or anything else. I'm just going in and saying, add this one, because I got to add them all individually, apparently. And this one. And this one. And this one. And while I'm doing this, you may think, oh, the alternating colors is cool. Well, yes, it is. But if you don't like the colors that come out automatically, you may have to do some harder work. So you may say, just give me a list. I'm good with a list. That's your choice. So I've got all of these selected. I've got nothing checked off up here. And I'm going to push continue down at the bottom. Well, it's going to ask me to name it. Right now, unnamed is not a very good name. So I'm going to put alternating list and finish. Is everybody good with that? Okay. Now I can add the widget myself, which you all are going to do. Or if you have a webmaster, you can email this to your webmaster so they can put the code in your website for you. Most of you don't have that. So I'm going to say, click here to get my widget code. This is the complicated part. Huh? Yeah, I know. But where do you paste it? So you'll notice in here, this has a division ID and all this. It's got a script in here because it's using JavaScript. It says what it's going to pull in. You have to get all of that, including the little arrows. Because what those little arrows do is it tells your website, hey, this is background stuff that you don't want to put on the page. You want to take the content that I'm going to get, put it on the page. So I'm going to highlight it and I can do a Control-C or right-click and copy. Then I go back to my website. I want to make sure everybody's up with me. Anybody want me to slow down? Or are we good? If you lose your website, remember, like I saved this as draft. Now I've opened my website back in and I have to paste that stuff in here. And it's possible I could paste it in right here and it wouldn't show up. But it's also very probable that if I paste it in like it says, that I will end up with all that gobbledygook in there to read. So what I have to do is go up into tools. What, Lynn? Well, that's because we did, okay, so Lynn found her page, edit that page. And then when you get it open, you see read what my clients have. It's got tools and you click on the little arrow and it says source code. What we're doing now in source code, see how these little things in here and it says strong, read what my clients wrote and all that. And then it has these little signs that say start a paragraph, end a paragraph, so on. So I'm going to click down in the next line and I'm going to paste in all that gobbledygook that we just copied from the other place. Oh, I don't know. It depends on what you wrote. And it depends on what you chose for the JavaScript and the wedge ID. And I'm going to say, okay. And see, now I've got this little tiny picture in here showing me there's stuff in the background that's there, but it's not showing it because it's not an active web page yet. Now I'm going to save this draft again so I don't have to lose anything. And then I'm going to preview the page. And there's where my testimonials start showing up. Does everybody see how that worked? You pick the widget you want and play with it and get what you like, and then they'll start showing up on that page. Are there any questions so far? It may, if you glued it in twice, it may be that you have to save it and publish it. There's several things that may happen. But I'm going to show you the last trick I have to show you now. And I'm going to continue after I add this widget. I'm back into testimonial tree. I know going back and forth is fun, isn't it? So in testimonial tree, if you've created a widget, which we have called alternating list, we can preview it, see what it looks like. Okay. Now, as I said, I've created several of them, and sometimes they show up 2 on one, 1 on the other. It's hard to tell. I can get the code because maybe I forgot to copy the code last time. I can click on the arrows and get the code back. But I want to go over here to advanced. Because if you absolutely hate some stuff, you can change limited features in advanced. Is everybody with me right now? Okay. And by the way, if you ever come back to the dashboard, you want to deal with the widget later, you click on the little widget and it says manage widgets, and that will get you to this page. But I'm going to go over to my advanced. Here's where I can start saying even row quote color. And right now it's DE, 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 and here's the odd row and so on, and it goes back and forth. If you want to get in here and change the colors, you can. Do you want round images instead of square? Well, the default setting is no, or you could say I want round. You want to hide signature. Maybe you don't want your clients' names on there, and so on. This can get very complex if you get too deep in this. But some people, and I'm going to pick on Priscilla for a minute, she may say, oh yeah, I want to play with these because I'm going to change the star rating, the colors, and all kinds of things, including the default order. Do you want them by date or do you want it to be random? Do you want padding between things? So most people are going to say, I want the newest rating at the top or testimony at the top and the oldest at the bottom. But there are a lot of choices you could make if you really want to. I'm not going to encourage you guys to go out and do a lot of that, but if you really want to. So particularly you get up here at some of the colors. Maybe you hate that black color. Well, then you would start looking at even row background, odd row quote. So I've got odd row is DEDE quote color or even row. So this is what the letters show up like. Then you've got the background color. Then you've got the font color. So there's a lot of things that you start playing with. You can really customize, but guys, it gets very confusing very quickly. Very, very quickly. So I'm not going to tell you to get in there really, because you'll change color on something and suddenly your font doesn't show up and you can't read anything. But I did want to at least let you know it was there. Now, finally, the last thing to do, if you're going to create this page and you are happy with it, maybe I don't want this to be over to the side. Maybe I want that to be centered. Okay. And I'm sure I could find a way to make that font bigger if I wanted to. But finally, you're going to want to publish this page. If you don't publish it, nobody ever sees it.
Hit text in the background, Greg. I think that's how you change it.
And it may be through the size back there. It seems to me I saw it here before in one of these that there was a way to edit some of the text, but by and large, I think you're right. You'd have to do it on the back page. And I don't want to get into that today. But for now, let's say we're happy with our testimonial page. We've published it. Then we need to make sure that it is viewable, which currently it is because it doesn't say hide here. And then I want to make sure it's where I want it to be on the top navigation. So I'm going to go back to Site Pages, All Pages. If you want to, you don't have to if you don't want to. It won't show up anywhere if you don't publish it. So I've gone back to in Site Pages, All Pages right here at the top. And this has pages that are showing property search, pages that are hidden, the active listings, and so on going down here. Buying and selling, some tips, some financial calculators. And you can keep seeing where the pages are. What you're also going to see is the last page I have is the one I just added. And maybe I don't want my testimonials there. I think I want my testimonials up by Contact Me. What I do is I grab it with my mouse. You can see the 4 arrows on it and move it up to Contact Me. And then I have to remember to publish it. If I don't, it's like saving. It won't save it there. I'm going to go ahead and publish it for now. And then to look at my site to see what I've done, I'm going to go up to Visit Site. I've got a better home search, About Brenda, which is very long because we're not really making this site fully live. Her mortgage rate, the neighborhood news, and now my testimonials is up here next to Contact Me. When I click on it, read what my clients have to say. And there are the testimonials populating down below it. Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you did wrong. So when you put my testimonials in, you put it by About Me, but over here where it's slightly inside. you want to pick it up and move it all the way to the left so that it's even on the left. And then it will show up. I'm back in my websites, site pages, all pages. And that's where you'll find all your navigation. And then once you have my testimonials where you want it, you don't want it indented in because that becomes a submenu. You want it to the left, so it is a main menu. And then be sure and hit publish in the bottom right-hand corner. That's your save button. Okay. So today what we covered, where your testimonials are, little bit on making sure you get your testimonials in front of people, sending the email out, how to save the pretty picture to put on Facebook and how to post them straight to Facebook, and how to build a web page that automatically feeds your testimonials as they come in. So while we save that over there, that is a live link or programming. If we change the colors, it changes it over here. If a new testimonial comes in, they come in over here. You don't have to paste that stuff in anymore. Okay? Well, yeah, I know. Does anybody have any questions online? Because if not, I'm going to quit the recording and then we'll, talk offline. Okay, I'm going to stop my screen share. I'm going to end the recording.